This is the first video commentating on current affairs slash cultural events. The aim of this video will be to try and find out where the majority of abuse suffered by Rashford and other England players during the Euro 2020 final came from. Firstly, I'd like to point out that it's a disgrace whoever committed the racist abuse. It's unconscionable that anyone should dehumanise another person because they missed a penalty or for any other reason. However, it is relevant where it came from. Secondly, it was a shame that this behaviour overshadowed what was a great tournament for England, with some standout performances from Sterling, Saka, Maguire and Pickford, to name a few. And thirdly, my opinion from a football point of view, Southgate got his tactics absolutely wrong. Sterling was having a bad game and he looked leggy. He should have been taken off in the first half of extra time and Sancho brought on. The fact he gave neither Sancho or Rashford time to even get a kick of the ball before penalties was ridiculous. And Saka taking a penalty was a bad decision. Way too much pressure for a young lad in a massive tournament. And even though he'd had a good tournament, it was too much pressure to put on the young lad, in my opinion. Having said that, let's get on with the video.
However, what we found out suggests that the majority of the abuse came from outside the UK. The Centre for Countering Digital Hate identified 105 accounts on Instagram that had directed racist abuse towards Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka and Jadon Sancho in the hours after the final of the European Championship. Newsnight has analysed the posts for clues as to where the person behind them was posting from. 9 of the accounts are no longer active. For 32 accounts, there wasn't enough information to make any sort of assessment. But for 59, the evidence suggests that they are outside the UK. In fact, for only 5 out of the 105 did it appear that the account was from someone inside the UK. Obviously, this is not definitive and only a snapshot, but it is perhaps an instructive one.
I think that we can't rule out the possibility of hostile foreign state activity. For some time, we've seen revisionist and authoritarian regimes looking to exploit social fault lines, racial tensions in Western societies. So we can't rule out that possibility.
I mean, one of the ironies of the internet is that, of course, it flattens our experience. So someone from overseas abusing a British footballer is treated on that platform as an equal. And in fact, ironically, because the algorithms advantage the most engaging content, which doesn't just mean the most interesting or the most valuable content, but actually that which induces a reaction. Abuse induces the strongest possible reaction. We saw that on Sunday, people actually arguing back saying, please don't be racist. But because of that, the algorithms push forward that content and show it to more and more people, actually then deepening that schism in our society.
On one level, where the abuse comes from makes no difference to the hurt and offence that it causes. But on another, it does perhaps tell us something about what we need to do about it.
Okay, that was a clip taken from Newsnight on the 13th of July, only a few days after the final. There are some good points raised in the video. First, the point of foreign interference. We know that there are countries dedicated to damaging the reputation of the UK. This is also known as public diplomacy. This is a soft power that every country needs to have influence in the international community and to sell their culture, values and ideology around the world. So, for example, China are currently defending themselves from accusations of genocide regarding the Uyghur Muslims and other minorities in their country. Therefore, they want the West to be seen as racist also and tarnish the West with the same brush they're being accused of. I'm not saying it is China. This is just an example of how foreign actors could use the internet to harm the soft power of another country. And this is something Russia has been accused of on several occasions recently. So the numbers mentioned in the clip obviously matter. Although it was a small sample that Newsnight investigated, only 5 out of the 105 accounts were from England. So if this is converted to a bigger investigation and was a true picture of the abuse, then this is significant. The report ends on saying, on one level, where the abuse came from makes no difference to the hurt and offence it causes. End quote. I totally disagree with this statement. It's a lot different if you think your neighbour burgled your house than it is if someone in the next city did it. And as previously stated, it gives an unfair representation of a country and its inhabitants. So the clip talking about the Twitter algorithm, how it would have made the comments more popular as people expressed their disgust with them and defended the England players, is also interesting. It's long been known that negative stories garner more attention and reaction than neutral or positive. So the phrase, if it bleeds, it leads, is used for a reason. This has now been converted over to social media, in my opinion. Therefore, a small group of negative racists will garner a lot of attention from the majority of normal people, giving the impression of a far larger amount of online hate, etc. In response to this, Twitter UK released information stating that they, quote, identified and removed 1,622 abusive tweets in 24 hours, end quote. They state that although there was tweets from all around the world, the majority came from the UK. Given that 35 million people watched the game and 15 million people on Twitter, it doesn't take a mathematician to realise a tiny minority of idiots made racist remarks about the players. So ultimately there is some ambiguity around where the majority of tweets came from. For example, there has been reports by the Daily Mail that 7 out of 10 posts abusing players came from abroad. They reference the Premier League as the source. This seems plausible as the Premier League is one of the most watched leagues in the world. I personally would take the Twitter data over the journalist articles at this point. However, what is undeniable is that a tiny minority of people sent racist tweets during the final, regardless of whether they were UK based or abroad. Okay, so thanks for listening. Like, comment and subscribe if you feel inclined. Bye.